I started to see Zach slightly move backwards and went, oh no, oh, don't do that.
Mid-air collisions and miscalculations, air devils dropping from the sky.
You can wind up with closing speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour.
When caught on camera, Up in the Air returns. A spectacular aerial stunt goes horribly wrong. Not one, but two mid-air collisions, 10,000 feet above the Earth, causing chaos in the skies. Wingsuit flyers are daredevils outfitted in aerodynamic suits, allowing them to go at speeds faster than 120 miles an hour. It's the closest a human can get to actually taking flight.
Basically, I feel like I've got my own private and personal F-16.
Your arms are your wings, your legs are your engine, and wherever you go, you fly to that place. What else can you do that feels like that?
Scott Bland and Scotty Burns are veterans of the high-octane sport.
You know, most people go ride a roller coaster for a thrill, and that's just about something to put me to sleep.
But the greater the thrill, the greater the danger.
I would say the most dangerous thing is the risk of collision. If you lose sight of somebody else that you're flying with, you can wind up with closing speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour.
The main fear with being hit is to be knocked out or killed.
The biggest risk for collision comes when wingsuiters fly dangerously close to each other in formations called flocks. And the most important person in the flock is the base, the person flying out front, guiding the team toward their target. And there's nobody Scotty Burns would want as his leader more than his good friend Scott Bland.
Scott's been leader of more large formations than anybody else on the planet. The number one thing that we know is we can always trust him to get us home.
They look to me for the point of reference. I have to go A rate, A speed, and hold it right there no matter what happens.
If Bland falters in any way, his flock could be thrown into a state of chaos.
If we're all going in the same direction, if we're all doing the same thing, the chances of collision is fairly low. But that can change.
And it can change in an instant, like it did on a clear day 2 miles over Puerto Rico. Bland is struck by another wingsuiter and starts spiraling out of control toward the Earth. February 16, 2008. It's the third day of the annual Puerto Rico Freefall Festival. Scott Bland, Scotty Burns, and their team have been having a blast.
That day was another perfect day in paradise. It's gorgeous down there. The beaches are beautiful, the water is beautiful, and the skydiving is terrific.
Their team has been jumping out of planes all morning. On their 5th jump of the day, they decide to ratchet up the adrenaline to try one of the most dangerous formations a flock can perform. It's called the stack.
Stacking is basically when you get a number of wingsuiters actually flying one over top of the other. You can only see what's in front of your eyes. So you have a really hard time seeing the people that are behind you, and you have to rely on those people to do the right thing and to not fly into you. Definitely a large risk in whenever a stack goes wrong.
But all seems okay on exit. Team leader Scott Bland points the flock toward the drop zone as Scotty Burns and another wingsuit diver shoot the action from the wing. And that's when it happens. Fellow wingsuiter Zach Schrodel hits a pocket of dead air caused by another flyer's wake.
I started to see Zach slightly move backwards and went, oh no, oh, don't do that.
He's dropping like a bowling ball and slams right into the back of Bland's legs, sending the base of the stack into a free fall. It's a scary moment, but Bland recovers quickly. Scotty Burns, with his camera still rolling, dives to check on his friend.
I flew over next to him and gave him an okay signal, and he had a big old smile on his face and kind of a look like, what the heck was that?
And I know what he interpreted as a smile was a grimace, but that's an ouch.
Bland is hurting, but he has a bigger concern.
I didn't know if my gear had been damaged. My pilot chute or some other part of my gear could have been opened at that point, and I might not have been aware of it. And I could see from his face, looking straight at my face, that nothing else was wrong. So at that point, I knew I was okay.
Bland immediately turns his attention toward the safety of his team members, who start reforming around him.
I need to make sure that I'm aiming myself back toward the drop zone to make sure I'm safe and to make sure everybody else gets back. I consider that my responsibility as the person on the bottom.
But as quickly as Bland reorients himself, unbelievably, it happens again. Another pocket of dead air and another mid-air collision. This time, two different wingsuit flyers. As they tumble in the sky, the team reaches 5,000 feet, and Bland signals to pull their parachutes, unsure if everyone is accounted for.
After we open the parachutes, I look around to see that the correct number of people are there. I knew how many people we had in the flock when we left the airplane, and then I counted that number of parachutes, plus mine, when we opened. So I knew everybody at least had a parachute in them. They could have been hurt, but they weren't dead.
When they land, Bland finds out that everybody in the group is okay. His legs and back are very sore from the impact, but more than anything, he's thankful the episode is over.
It was a huge feeling of relief to finally get my feet back on the ground. There's a rule that it's better to be down here wishing you were up there than to be up there wishing you were down here.
But if you think this brush with death will cause Scott Bland to stop jumping out of planes, think again.
A lot of people look at skydiving and they think that these people are just nuts. They have a death wish, that this is not the kind of thing that I could do. There's no payoff without some kind of risk. And if you take a graduated risk, the payoff can be lower.